His Excellency, Dr. Cyril Ramaphosa, the Deputy President of our beautiful country, South Africa, the Honorable Minister of Small Business Development, Ms. Lindiwe Zulu, Mayor of Surabaya, Indonesia, Ms. Tri Risma Harini, Global Entrepreneurship President, Mr. Jonathan Ottman, who I had an opportunity to have tea with him this morning, gathered ministers, local government officials, representatives across the globe, local and international organizations, our investors that our city so desperately needs, policymakers, researchers, members of the media, the thousands of the people gathered here today, you the entrepreneurs. We are here because of you. Thank you so much, and good morning to all of you. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my profound pleasure to welcome you to our beautiful city of Johannesburg. As a city founded in the gold rush of the 1880s, Johannesburg stays true to its root by welcoming thousands of people who come in search of opportunity and a better life for themselves and their loved ones. As a city, we pride ourselves in being a city of first in a number of events and activities. We are pleased to be the first African city to host this great event, which pays host to over 150 countries and thousands of thought leaders from leading institutions. Events such as this are a vital platform for collaboratively creating solutions to our universal challenges. The 2016 World Economic Forum on Africa was titled, "Connecting Africa's Resources Through Digital Transformation," a continuation of the discourse of the fourth industrial revolution as advanced by the World Economic Forum. The message is clear. Africa must digitize, create connections among nations, and build economies of scale. Indeed, the 27th edition of this Congress is themed Digital Disruption. Here in the city of Johannesburg, we have declared ourselves as a smart city equipped to take advantage of the opportunities of an increasingly digitized and connected world. Already, Johannesburg will be enhancing its already existing access to ICT, including free Wi-Fi, throughout the city so as to enable communities and businesses to embrace the new digital era. We are also leveraging partnership with academic institutions such as Wits University to unearth innovative ICT solutions to our city's challenges. This includes investment into Johannesburg inner city through the establishment of an ICT hub. Johannesburg remains significant to our country because of its complex history and its potential to not only contribute greatly to South Africa's future, but also to the future of the African continent. This is a city built on the backs of men and women who left their homelands seeking golden opportunities to sustain their families and improve their lives. These men and women form part of an economic revolution. They were the city's early innovators and trailblazers. The spirit that encouraged thousands of people to turn a dusty and waterless piece of land into the country's economic hub is the same spirit which will propel us to fight our current problems and enter a new era of golden opportunities for the city and eventually for the entire African continent. Ladies and gentlemen, as all of you are aware, I was born and grew up in poverty in Haramutz, a small village out in Amanskral. I never had an opportunity to know my father. He passed away when I was only 2 years old. My mother was a domestic worker who worked away from home here in Johannesburg for months on end to put our food on the table. My sisters and I never had a house of our own during our development. We were forced to live in the homes of migrant workers while they were working away in Johannesburg. While this was not the most stable environment, It gave me a sense of personal independence from a young age and taught me invaluable lessons along the way. I learned to always be an individual in my interaction with other people, to be myself and never fall prey to people with bad intentions, to take personal responsibility for everything I do and never to blame other people for my own actions. These lessons went hand in hand with the value of integrity. These lessons went hand in hand with the value of integrity. Your integrity is something that no one can take away from you, but once you lose it, through your words or action, it is lost forever. The life lessons which I have mentioned would prove invaluable in building my own hair care manufacturing business in the 80s during the height of apartheid era in our country. This was a time when the apartheid government did everything in its power to prevent black people from succeeding. However, I refused to allow an oppressive government to determine my destiny. Through the support of my friend and mentor, Mr. Holter Dube, my business partners and I were provided with a 30,000 rands loan, which helped us realize our dream, starting our business back in 1985 in a homeland of Bophuthatswana in Ga-Rankuwa, because we were not allowed to start business in the so-called white South Africa at the time. I've always been animated by the belief that true freedom is the freedom for each person to be whatever he or she wants to be. It was this belief that drove me to succeed in business. And now it drives me as I stand before you as the executive mayor of the city of Johannesburg. With the first democratic elections in 1994, many of us believed that a new South Africa would bring with it a landslide of economic opportunities, particularly for those of us who suffered through apartheid's systematic oppression. I believe there would be an explosion of young black entrepreneurs that would take our country to new heights. Sadly, this vision is yet to be realized. There can be no denying that the country has made significant strides in improving the circumstances of many South Africans, as well as opening our nation to the global economy. However, many South Africans, too many, are still forced to continue living on the fringes of our society. For them, the promise of post-1994 South Africa still remains a dream deferred. Africa is home to the world's largest population. This presents amazing opportunities for tapping into the innovative spirit and tenacity of the youth of our country. Unfortunately, here and elsewhere, far too many of our youth, and especially black youth, live with the ravages of poverty and unemployment. They have been failed by a dysfunctional economic system. Too many have resorted to crime and drug abuse under dire socio-economic conditions. I've come a long way from the poor young man living in Haramutsi village. Now, as executive mayor of the city of Johannesburg, I am fortunate to be in a position where I can actively work to assist and uplift our people. This is a responsibility I do not take lightly. I'm committed to running a pro-poor and responsive government while at the same time embracing the business sector. In fact, the two must go hand in hand if we wish to stimulate economic growth and create jobs for our people. The city of Johannesburg, under my leadership, has set itself the task of achieving a minimum of 5% economic growth by 2021. I appreciate that achieving this 5% jump requires both the government and business sector to join hands, understanding that failing to kickstart the Johannesburg economy will have dire implications beyond our borders. I believe that one of the key factors in achieving this economic growth lies in the revitalization of our inner city. Over the years, Johannesburg inner city has suffered from gross neglect. This has resulted in the degeneration of the inner city's economy, with crimes and drugs and filth becoming commonplace. Historic buildings have been abandoned or hijacked. Debt has piled up and crime has spiraled almost out of control. I consider the inner city to be a jewel in the crown of the city of Johannesburg. A blemished jewel, but one that can be polished to herald a new era of economic growth, job creation, and affordable accommodation for our residents. The economic revival of our inner city is crucial in creating an inclusive and a prosperous city. The revitalization of our inner city is pivotal in our quest to unleash Johannesburg economic potential and realize our target of a 5% economic growth. We must create an enabling environment for small businesses and young entrepreneurs to flourish and create permanent jobs for our people. Ultimately, this will benefit the poorest among the city, the ones that are called the forgotten people. I'm pleased to inform you that through the city's recent adjustment budget process, we are making progress in terms of implementing a strategy to revitalize the inner city of Johannesburg. We have implemented increased the cleaning shift in the inner city, which will help to make it a cleaner environment. We have also begun the process of implementing a new crime prevention plan, which will see increased bylaw enforcement and visible policing in our city, including the recruitment of additional 1,500 police officers. We allocated over 200 million rands to the Johannesburg Social Housing Company for the purpose of purchasing buildings in the inner city, which will be refurbished into low-cost rental stock for over 1,800 families. We are also analyzing all city-owned buildings with the intention to convert them into affordable, low-cost housing for our residents to accommodate workers closer to other workplaces. These buildings will also be converted into affordable commercial spaces for the benefits of small businesses and entrepreneurs like yourselves. Small businesses create jobs. They have an abundance of potential waiting to be unlocked, and they have the ability to expand into employers of our people. That is why small business development is one of the key focus areas of my term in office. There are now 7 SME hubs throughout the city, and our plan is to expand this to 12 hubs over the next year. Between August and December 2016, the city provided support to 6,993 SMEs, which is over 2,000 more than what was achieved in the months preceding the elections. We will continue to aggressively pursue this project. We have also initiated a review of all bylaws in the city, with a focus on those bylaws that are involved in the decision-making processes pertaining to economic development. We will be throwing open our doors to make Johannesburg an easier, more attractive destination to do business in South Africa. A task team has been established to fast-track investment in the city. It will measure 20 service standards critical to growing investor confidence so as to make Johannesburg a more competitive investment destination. This includes land use, utility services, and zoning. Although this is still early days, the work of this team is already yielding positive results. Our Service with Pride campaign is directly linked to making our city great and aims to create a professional civil service. A professional, committed, and responsive civil service will help to attract investments, and which will in turn stimulate economic growth and job creation. With a dedicated focus on implementing our plans, we will ensure that we create an enabling environment that allows businesses, and especially small businesses, to flourish and provide residents with the opportunity to unlock their potential. Finally, the challenges faced by these cities are not unique to Johannesburg. These are the challenges of all modern African cities. If you are to find solutions to our difficulties, our plans must be bold, and our implementation must match that boldness. The future prosperity of all our people depends on it. Through all of us gathered here today, may we put Africa on the road to achieving that prosperity for our residents, and I thank you.